In this video, we're going to continue our discussion of the histology of the digestive tract and talk about the histology of the stomach and the small intestine. We'll do the stomach first. Now, we covered the esophagus in the last video, and we mentioned that the giveaway for the esophagus, when you're looking at its microscope image, is that it has to have stratified squamous epithelium. And if it has this type of epithelium in the mucosal layer, it's the esophagus, because out of these four, this is the only one where you'll see stratified squamous epithelium. However, all these other types are going to have simple columnar epithelium. So if it's not stratified squamous, it has to be simple columnar. So you can't use the simple columnar epithelium to determine which one of these three you have. Okay, you have to look at other features. All right, and so when we look at these next two, the stomach and the small intestine, there's going to be either no goblet cells or very few that are visible. Okay, when we eventually look at the colon, the giveaway for the colon is we have a huge number of goblet cells. All right, but with the stomach and small intestine, we have either none that are visible or very few. All right. Now, when you're differentiating between the stomach and the small intestine, one of the things you can look for is whether or not you have villi, which are finger-like projections. If you do have those, then that's the small intestine. If you don't have villi, then you have the stomach. But there's some other ways that we can also identify the stomach. Right? The stomach is going to have rugae, and you'll be able to see the rugae if the image is zoomed out a lot. Okay? If it's not very magnified, you might be able to see rugae. And there's also gastric pits and gastric glands, which are not going to look like the villi of the small intestine. So let's take a look at the stomach. Right? So what we see up here, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit, okay? So these structures right here, this is called a gastric gland, okay? Actually have the arrow way down here at the bottom. So that I have this boxed in blue, this is actually the gastric gland, okay? A little bit about the stomach. Remember that the stomach contains hydrochloric acid, and so you have to create some mucus that's going to line the surface of the stomach to protect the underlying tissue. It's these gastric glands that are actually generating that mucus. Now, you have this other term called a gastric pit. The gastric pit is really more the opening. Okay, the gastric gland is really the deeper part right here that actually generates the mucus. But these structures in general are going to be characteristic of the stomach. All right. Now, another thing about the stomach is that, like I mentioned, it has simple columnar epithelium, but you're not going to be able to use that to really tell the stomach from the other two tissues. Right? It still has a lamina propria. It has a muscularis mucosa. If we're looking at this right here, this region right here where my mouse is, this would be the lamina propria. Okay, and then this region right here where I'm tracing with my mouse, this is going to be the muscularis mucosa. Down here, where it's much more light staining, this is going to be my submucosa. Okay? So stomach also has submucosa. They all do. Now, when we look at the interactive image, it's going to have a muscularis externa, okay, or muscularis propria, same thing. But the difference with the stomach is that it has an extra layer of smooth muscle that the other three segments of the digestive tract do not. All four of them at least have a circular and longitudinal layer. Okay? The stomach has an extra oblique layer, and so the oblique layer is the one closest to the lumen. Okay, so the oblique layer is actually going to border the other side of the submucosa, right? And then it has a serosa, unlike the esophagus, which has adventitia, right? We're not going to really use the serosa as the ID. In fact, we're not even really going to use the muscles as an ID because these can be harder to tell. We really want to get used to telling the gastric pits. That's going to be more the giveaway that we have the stomach. All right, so let's go to the interactive image and see what we can identify here from the stomach. Well, first of all, this is very zoomed out, right? If we look at this structure right here that looks like a giant finger, okay, this is not a villus. Okay, this is not one of the villi. Okay, villi are much, much smaller. Okay, this is clearly zoomed out, so this is a very, very large structure. Okay, this is actually a rugae. And remember from the stomach video where we talked about the anatomy, the rugae are folds within the stomach that allow it to expand once you get the food inside of it. So when it's empty, the stomach would more or less look like this, but it can actually fold out and expand whenever food goes in. So this is actually the rugae. And the rugae is only visible when you're very zoomed out. If we were looking at the small intestine, which we will in a minute, the villi you will see when it's very, very, very zoomed in. Right? This is a rugae. Now, let's actually zoom in right here. So we're actually going to look at some of the gastric glands and see if we can get a feel for what they look like. So right here, this is actually a good gastric gland right here. Right? We're going to zoom in a little bit more. And what we can see, hopefully, is that all these nuclei of these cells lining the gland, these nuclei are all in line with each other. That's a giveaway that this is simple columnar epithelium. But notice the structure of the gastric gland. Okay? We don't have these finger-like projections that just stick out. Okay? We have just this pit that kind of goes into here. And so this region at the top that opens to the lumen, this would be my gastric pit. And then down here, all of these cells would make up the gastric gland. Okay? So let me zoom out a little bit more. Okay? And you can see all these gastric glands lining the lumen. It's a little bit messy in places, but I think you get the picture. So this is the lining of the stomach. And of course, this is going to be in the mucosal layer. So we'll zoom out a little bit more. These are obviously the simple columnar epithelial cells, okay, that make the gastric glands. And then if we go deep to that, we have all this, which is lamina propria. Okay? In fact, the stomach has a very thick lamina propria, which makes sense because you want to keep the stomach acid as far away from the deeper tissues as possible, because you don't want to get it very much damaged. So the stomach is going to have a very thick lamina propria. If we go deep to that, this thin layer of muscle right here, this is going to be my muscularis mucosa. Remember that the mucosal layer has a very thin, smooth muscle layer. This is the muscularis mucosa. If we go even deep to that, all this region right here that doesn't really seem to stain that well, that's very light, this is my submucosal layer. Okay? So submucosal. And eventually I'm going to reach the muscularis externa. Right? Now I'm going to zoom out a lot because we can actually see the particular muscular layers better when we're zoomed out. Right? So there are technically 3 muscular layers here in the muscularis externa. Now, the easiest one to identify is down here. This is the longitudinal layer. Okay? If I put my mouse probably right here, it's hard to tell the exact cutoff, okay? But probably about right here where I'm moving the mouse left and right. This is the cutoff between the oblique layer and the circular layer. Okay? Notice the longitudinal fibers are kind of going left and right, and that means the circular fibers have to go vertically. So this would be a good striation right there for the circular layer because it's going perpendicular to the longitudinal fibers. So this would be my circular layer. If we look right here, we can see that the oblique layer, these striations seem to be running diagonally from the circular layer. Okay, so this region right here would be my oblique muscular layer. This would be the circular, and this would be the longitudinal layer. And if you're given a high quality, high resolution image like this that's zoomed out, you actually might be able to look at this, the muscular layer that is, muscularis externa, and tell that it's the stomach. Okay? But actually, I prefer to give students the gastric glands right here, that is the mucosal layer, because I feel like this is a little bit easier to identify the stomach. Right? You have these gastric pits, and then the gastric glands, and then notice that you have a very, very thick lamina propria. Right? But you can use either of those 2 factors depending on the magnification to figure out the stomach, either the gastric glands or the 3 layers of the muscularis externa. Remember, the stomach is the only one that's going to have an oblique layer. Now let's look at the small intestine. Small intestine is a little bit different. All right? We have these finger-like projections that are called villi. A singular one is a villus, but collectively they're called villi. And these villi are actually what constitute the brush border, which we talked about in the physiology video for the small intestine. Okay, so if we were to zoom in here, which we will in a minute on the interactive microscope slide, we would see that this is simple columnar epithelium, and everything underneath that, deep to that, is the lamina propria. And then deep to that, right here, we have a layer of muscularis mucosa. But the key giveaway about the small intestine is you have these finger-like projections called villi. Okay? Now, it also has a submucosal layer that stains lighter, usually, and it's back to the normal arrangement of the muscularis externa. It does not have 3 layers, it just has the normal 2, circular and longitudinal, and it has a serosa Again, the stomach, small intestine, and large intestine all have serosa. The only one with adventitia is, of course, the esophagus. So let's now take a look at the micrograph image of the small intestine. So what we're going to do is we're going to find at least a decent region of this to zoom in on. So here is a villus. This is one of these finger-like projections. You can see a couple on either side of it. Right? If we zoom in a little bit more, we can actually see the simple columnar cells. Right? So we can see all the nuclei. They're on the same level as each other. They're right in line. Okay, the resolution's not great at this magnification, but we can see them. These little lighter cells right here, these are goblet cells. Now remember, with the stomach and small intestine, we would either see no goblet cells or very, very few. This would constitute very few. Okay? When we look at the colon in the next video, we're going to see a ton of goblet cells. All right? But hopefully you can see the simple columnar cells, goblet cells interspersed. Of course, the goblet cells are going to secrete mucus to help lubricate the edges of each of these villi. Okay? And so this would be my epithelium, simple columnar. Deep to that within the finger, within the villus, this is my lamina propria. Let's zoom out a little bit more. So all this right here, this is my lamina propria. Okay? And then this thin layer of smooth muscle, that would be my muscularis mucosa. Right? And then if we go deep to that, all of this would be submucosa. Okay? This would all be submucosa. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. Again, the muscular layers aren't too good in this, but deep to the submucosa would, of course, be the muscular layers. Usually when you're looking at the small intestine, you're not going to use the muscular layers to ID it. Really, the best way is if you're given this villus, this would be the giveaway that you've got the small intestine. Okay? So again, when we're comparing the small intestine and the stomach, okay, neither of them really have goblet cells. Okay? They either have none visible or very few. The giveaway is that with the stomach, you can either look at the gastric gland / pit, or you can look at the three muscular layers, which are usually pretty well defined in the stomach. With the small intestine, you're going to have these finger-like projections. So hopefully this has made sense. In the next video, we're going to conclude with the large intestine, and we're also going to take a look at the recto-anal junction. Right? So make sure to join us then. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for future videos and notifications. Thank you very much.